As I see you didn't hear my whole intro, alright, let's do the intro again then. Awoo, everybody, and welcome back to whatever this game is called. Scuffed version, scuffed recording screen, what is the ghost of you? Um, oh yeah, that just thrown me off completely. We haven't played this game in exactly 2 months. Last time was the 16th of January, and I was surprised to see that we have exactly the 16th of March now. Or the opposite way around, it was exactly like 2 months ago. And that I mostly remember the story. There might be tiny details missing, and that's about what I said. And let's go back to the story. And now I was just talking about return to the door in the chapel, go back to the rehearsal room. And we have been in those rooms before, so we're not gonna go there. We saw an exit that we haven't taken because we were like, yeah, no, we're not gonna do that. And that's when I turned around to the screen and saw, well, we have not anything. So let's go to the cloakroom. We haven't been there yet. I feel the same, Lord Petra. I want to know where this debris was moved. One nods to you as you both walk over to the door, and you outstretch your hand to the handle with a twist, listening to the slow creak of the door as you open it. You're both gripped with fear from the moment you do. The hallway is pitch black, with a terrifying face awaiting you at the very end. What? Moaned Hopkins shakingly. What the hell is that? This feels like it is the first time you felt genuinely terrified. What? The first time? Not the corpse parts, 100 dead people, a body falling from the sky on you, a monster is after you, and that's the first time you felt genuinely terrified. Are you serious? Repulsed by the state of the Symphony Hall, yes. Horrified at the events that took place, absolutely. But this was a terrifying sight. Something that genuinely scares you to your very core. This face is something that you know belongs to a being that could very much hurt you. You're paralyzed to the spot. In the darkness it looks all the more haunting, and that is what keeps you from moving onwards. Its eyes are glowing orange, smile fashioned out of whatever the eyes are made of, sharp and terrifying. There are neon smears across the cheeks of what looks like some kind of paint, and yet you cannot make out the nose, even work out how you can see in this kind of darkness. You can see it very clearly, and you can sense from its vicious smile that it really wants to toy with you. Any sudden movement forwards could provoke it to attack you. Is this an even creature, or just a fixture? How is it glowing? But despite your fear of it moving, you cannot see it doing anything of the sort. There's always a possibility it could be a decoy placed here to prevent you from moving forward. And it's simply just a model. You know for a fact that the woman behind all of these torture charades loved to toy with you even more than this creature probably would. You grab Mona's arm protectively and remain paralyzed to the floor as you and whatever kind of being this is lock eyes. You stare at each other for a moment and you notice that this being still isn't moving. You know you have to chance it, if nothing else. It knows you exist now. This is really something to be feared. It will surely come for you anyway. You judge how much time you'd probably have before you can reach the first door. 10 seconds. You know it didn't take you very long the last time, but you also cannot remember how long it was. Not in pitch black with an awful creature staring at you. You close your eyes and with moan in hand you both break for it, sprinting with your hands against the wall of the doors. Your eyes are firmly squeezed shut, trusting your hands to be your senses for two people, feeling as quickly as you can along the wall, listening to the thudding, terrifying sound of your heartbeat pounding in your ears, the blood pumping through your eternally fueled body, and success. Find the door's handle. No attempt or desire to look and see if the creature has moved. Your hands scarper fast against the door's handle, turning quickly. As you thrust yourself inside quickly, you slam the door behind you. Your eyes are met with a sigh of relief. Finally, a room that seems safe, Mona exclaims in relief and falls to her knees for a moment. You relax and sink down against the door on your back. Your legs crumble underneath your body, and you place your hands on your face. You are alive. You made it in one piece. So far, you have endured some of the most horrible sights that humanity has to offer. You take a moment to catch your breath and to process all that has happened, and find it a little easier to go on. You feel the determination from wanting to know the truth surge for your body in the stillness of the safety, and as you open your eyes, you catch sight of your back. It is a warm relief to see something so familiar, even if you know it is just a bag. It's still a piece of home, something that you know won't hurt in the ways that some of the people in this very hall have been destroyed. You run over to it, clasping the handles, before you pause. The bag is covered with blood and soot, and it looks as though there are slashes along the bottom. You pause, cold fright rushing over you as you try to look inside. One looks anxiously at you as you open the bag. You decide to open the bag, stand back, wary of whatever might be inside, and instead as you open it, you see a single piece of sheet music. Sheet music? Mona asks. You weren't planning on playing a piece tonight, were you? Shake your head. What is this doing here? You look at the crumble-stained sheet before you and you discover that the sheet music is in Devil's Anana. Fingers scan the music notes. You recognize this piece from somewhere. Acquire one copy of the Devil's Anana. It was not where you wanted your bag, but you think that you might as well take what is inside all the same. You might remember something from this. As you stand, you notice there's a door in front of you, as well as the one leading back into the hall. You have no idea what is in the front door, but you do know that there's an ominous-looking creature in the hallway just emerged from. What will you do? Try the door in front of us. Upon weighing up your options, you know that the way backwards is definitely the more dangerous one. You press the shell of your ear to the door behind you. You still cannot hear the creature moving. Upon moving forward to the door ahead, you also cannot hear anything staring behind this door. You reach for the handle. Wait! Turn to face Mona with a curious look on your face. She holds up a hand and you stop yourself from speaking. Strain your ears to listen. There was a noise behind this door. You cannot quite make out what this place is behind the door, but as you listen, you think you can faintly hear someone humming. The clink of what sounds like metallic noises scraping each other against brashly. What's going on? One asks quietly. Will you still choose to enter this door? Yes. I will. Humming or no humming, you think that is probably the better option than whatever kind of creatures out in the back behind you. Still don't quite know how to explain the existence of monsters in this world, but you also don't care to. You begin to get lost in a train of thought before shaking it out, placing your hand on the door handle. The handle feels hot. It's not hot enough to burn your skin, but it's definitely hot enough to hurt if you held it for too long. Just what waits behind this door? You know there's only one way to find out. Let's go, Mona says. You can't argue with her determination. You turn the handle, step into what passes for the Symphony Hall's kitchen. And I'm gonna scratch myself. There we go. First thing you do is cover your face immediately as you gag, and the second thing you do is feel your eyes widen in horror as your eyes are met with the sight of your surrounding. Mona slaps a hand over her own mouth. Does this place continually gag me with stenches? You find yourself in a kitchen of vast quantities. The rush of wind rustles your hair from the bag, and you quickly find yourself clamping a hand over your face. Mona staggers next to you, almost knocked off of her feet from the putrid stench, and places her hands on your arm to steady herself. The sound of a mystery concoction remains bubbling away, vigorously in various large pots, and a variety of stenches that linger in the air reek of death and vomit. The floor is made of porcelain tiles that look beige from the layers of dirt that reside of them. Think that they were perhaps probably white once, but no longer. They are grubby and stained, and there is a matted rug beneath the feet of the rather questionable-looking chef before you. The chef in question is busy, humming away as they steer whatever is in the large pot, concealed by their body blocking your view. You can see dotted around the room what looks like organized chaos. You're surprised to see frayed books, loose notes, and sheets of paper almost everywhere. The ears are met with further sounds of bubbles bursting away once more beneath the liquid in the pot she stands before. The lighting in this room is somewhat of a reddish glare, feels desolate. dangerous and looming. The furniture placed around the room is overly big and misshapen, made of stone or steel, and imposing in its stature. Oh? You turn your gaze back to the chef who turns around to face you, leather and rubber-gloved hand. They make a noise of curiosity beneath the gas mask and place a hand on their cheek. You have a guest. Two, in fact, oh my! The chef gleefully hisses, clasping their hands together. Oh, it's been so long. So long. Nobody ever came to visit us downstairs. Even though there was a banquet, and now I have a reason to my food. Restriction dishes? Oh, wonderful, wonderful! She said you would come. What should I make? The chef's voice fades to mumble and begin to turn back to stirring the pot. I try to unlock the door subtly with fumbling hands behind your back, but it's no good. You're trapped. The smell of wild hours in the pot, and the oven you notice further still is making you want to retch. What will you do? Ask what the banquet was. The chef is surprised to hear a voice so suddenly. Turns around slowly as though she cannot believe she's been asked a question. You? Would ask me something? He nodded in response. What else can you do? The banquet. The chef repeats lower than you or hesitantly asks question. The banquet is a feast for the masses, for the mind, for the soul, you know? Goodness, I worked so hard. I tirelessly worked on it. And I worked on it for her, yes. She told me to gather people, to gather them and to celebrate her existence with them. I'm not quite sure what the chef means. I repeat the question once more. I see more animators remember whatever the bouquet is. Picking up a knife on the countertop next to them and running the farm along the blunted side of the knife. The lenses of the gas mask glint beneath the flick of the stove's flames and they turn around to face you once more. The banquet is a feast. A glorious feast. Pounds for each person accompanied by water or wine. A woman as beautiful as yourself could easily be a part of such a thing, in fact. The lenses of the mask glint further still, and you can see that they're getting into an aggressive pose. I think it's probably not a good idea to ask them questions. What will they do? Ask if they will let you go. Upon backing up against the door and tugging at the handle suddenly, you know that you've made a grave mistake. It doesn't look as though this room has any kind of entrance or exit besides this door. And it doesn't really look like there's even anything you can use in here for items. You try picking at the chef's brain for knowledge, but you have a feeling that one was sooner than anything good. Your eyes scour the place one last time for any kind of utensil or item that might be useful. A knife, key, a hammer, anything, but to no avail. Much to your surprise, all of the tools that could have been useful are stuck in the sink, unwashed and a little rusty. Try as you can see under the glimmer of the white light. Keys to be found here. The chef examined herself, running her butcher's knife along the whetstone on the countertop. The sounds of this room are horribly eerie. The scrape of a knife's blade, the bubbling away of unknown contents in a large metal pot. The humming of a song that you feel as though you recognize. Think that perhaps if you ask nicely, they may just let you go altogether. They're busy anyway. Suddenly it would appear that they have all of the ingredients they need. You swallow hard and as gently into the open air of the room. Oh, you're both still here? Jeff replies with a lazy tone of intrigue and notices the look on the face. You both should really be hurrying along to see her. Explain to them that you appear to have made a wrong turn on the way there and that you need to leave this room immediately. He pauses momentarily before placing down her knife on the counter. The glowing of the words sets off alarm bells in your head. What did you say your name was again? Will you be honest with them? Yeah, sure, why not? You decide that in this situation, honesty is definitely the best policy. Even if you lied to them, who could say what would happen to you regardless? Might end up being worse for you in the long run. You confess and tell them your name is Libretto. They gasp as they look excited and clasp their hands together. Oh! They exclaim and clap their hands. Oh! I was told if you came here, that I had to do something now. What was it? They rummage around in the drawers of the countertops next to the metal pot and the stove before they pull out a slip of paper. They show it to you. You gasp. It's Alyssa's letter. Jeff giggles with delight. Now I know I was supposed to show you this. She said you would be horrified, mortified, endeavoring to scream at the thought of event in peril. She grins and rubs her hands together with the ladder still in them. It scrunches and you wince as you reach out to grab it. The chef notices. Oh yes, when on this ladder it tells me. I need to ask you a few important questions to see if intelligence still up to par. Let me see. Your mind is racing as is your heart. Thought of something terrible having happened to Alyssa is driving insane already. What will you say? Ask me the questions. How did you come across the ladder? The chef does not respond and suddenly goes back to sharpening the knife. What will he say? Can we help you with the recipe in any way? The only thing you can think of to get out of here is to offer your services. Maybe with your goodwill to the chef, she will allow you to leave. You put forward a suggestion of helping with the recipe. Mona looks at you aghast. What? Libretto! Ooh! The chef declares in surprise and nods eagerly with face. Yes! Oh, this is ever so exciting. First I get to make a glorious bread, then I get to meet somebody new, and then I get to make this wonderful dish to go with the spread. The recipe I wrote down was a little smudged, so I'll be making stew from this book. He fumbles around in the front of her apron and pulls out a chopping knife. You and Mona feel an ominous prickle up your back. Oh boy. I can't wait for this. The chef walks up before you, uncomfortably close to the point. You can smell the residue of whatever it was she was cooking. You can see her bloodshot eyes with the lenses of a gas mask gather so vaguely. Make sure you help me properly, okay? She chirps and points a knife at your face. You swallow hard. You brace yourself and stare defiantly into the face of uncertainty. Mona squeezes your hand. First, Douglas, what should go in the pot? I've put in the broth. I just can't seem to think of the ingredients. Sure, I can do that. Chef scratches her head. Suddenly she clasps her hands over mitts together and shoves them. Well, nothing easier than that. I know how to cook a broth. Just gonna take a quick sip. Oh, I know. Here, look at this list. Tell me who should go in. What should go in first? Engine grease, needles, no, small potatoes. You toss a few small potatoes into the stew. They begin to boil. The chef waves the knife at your nods. Good decision, yes. Find one I would have made myself. What now? What should go in next? Corns, carrots, petals, carrots. You drop a few carrots into the stew. The chef watches you every move intently. These elections are weird. Mona whispers to you. The chef points a knife at Mona. Yeah. But, she shouts. What should the next ingredient be? Petit pois, string, or blood? I'm gonna save here. I'm gonna say it's blood. Take a round of blood from the chef's questionable pantry and pour it into the stew. The water is dyed a deep red. Off. What will you add to the dish? Glass, hay, ribbons. What the? Mona begins, the chef releases a knife once more. Mona bends her lip. You drop a red ribbon in the stew. The material boils away in the pot. And now, the fifth ingredient, the chef declares boldly. I think this is shaping up rather nicely, don't you? What should you add to the mix? Raisins? Celery? Tomato? Not raisins. Probably tomato. No, we have something about celery. You add some chopped celery to the pot. Out of the corner of your eye, you see that Mona looks relieved. Finally, the last ingredient. What will be the finishing touch? Meat? 3 pencils? Razor blades. Meat. pick up some ordinary looked red meat and drop it in the stew. The chef makes a noise of deliberation before she falls silent for a few minutes, tapping her head and folding her arms. You, Monica, winkle your nose as you look at the bubbling concoction before you. Interesting. Interesting. You're quite a daring person, aren't you? The chef ponders, turning around and fiddling with the kitchen utensils and stirring away whatever's in the pot. I mean, this dish is disgusting. Too many veggies. But if that's what you're into, then good for you. I suppose I shall let you off this once. Try to help me, and it's the thought that counts. Or something, I actually want to kill you. But I'm always telling myself, aren't I good? Anyway, you did a terrible job. Bravo. Try to recoil out of reflex. However, the mere idea of this woman touching your skin, you feel something cold and metal in the palm of your hand. What's that? Mona asks cautiously. Here. It's a key to a blue cabinet. You will know when you see. Don't tell I gave you it. Oh, but good behavior must be rewarded, don't you think? Yes. You pause, looking at the dirty key placed in your hand. You acquire cabinet key. Oh, and you should take this again. Just add to the ladder for Alyssa's ladder. Now be off with you. Go to my bouquet. Hurry. Then locks the door before you with a large overbearing key, almost a comical looking set of keys. There's so many. Shoves you out with a fierce bump. Was the visit profitable after all? Find yourself back where you started in the gruesome symphony hall, and all the more haunted for it. Where will you go? Alright, I am not sure if I saw a blue thing anymore, but I have a feeling that we're supposed to go to the rehearsal room, back to it. Why? Because you can rehearse there, and we got now sheet music, and I feel like something is gonna happen if you play the sheet music. I just don't know what it is. So let's go back to the rehearsal room. Return to the rehearsal room, but curiously it is the only location you have seen thus far that was completely untouched by the chaos of what took place in the symphony hall. In a way, it is a comfort to see something so absolutely normal in this place. In another, it serves as a chilling reminder of the landscape, shattered lives on the other side of the door. Take a quick look around the room once more, but for nothing of interest. Where will you go? Damn. Turn to the door within the chapel. You turn back to the chapel and tell the vicar that you would like to pass through the door. She nods accordingly and with an almost subhuman force shoves your Mona over towards the door. Hey, we can make our own way there, you know? Mona scolds. The vicar shakes her head. You must hurry. Quickly now, the vicar says, shuffling Mona forward in hasty motion through the candles. She's waiting for you. Get out of it, quickly. The vicar, shoving and an unrequested manhandling, pushes you to the unknown door. With a shaky hand, Mona shoves the key into the lock, turning it with a satisfying large and locking noise. They both exchange a look of alarm before the vicar opens the door to what seems like an unending darkness and shoves them both inside. Goodbye for now, she exclaims, and with a loud bang the door closes behind you. You and Mona arrive at the doorway to the next place in this hellhole, tucked away inconspicuously at the back of the chapel. Gone through the last door on this floor. Both swallow hard, exchanging a concerned look as you stand in the covered masonry-clad room, staring at an oaken door with a tiny golden keyhole beneath its handle. Mona is the first to place her hand on the handle, and you place your ear to the door. You cannot hear anything besides the breeze of the wind circling around what sounds like a stairwell. Shall we unlock the door, Leopoldo? She asks tentatively, holding onto your arm. It seems like the only way forward is downstairs, isn't it? You place the golden key into the slot and turn. A satisfying and yet terrifying click reaches your ears. The wooden door itself creaks open. The swing. It's time to go down on the first level of the basement. The stairwell is darker than ever as you tread even further into the heart of darkness. You're unsure whether you're going to make it out alive. You have ended up in the staircase. So far, it has been a bit morbid, unfortunate, and grim experience at the Symphony Hall. You've gotten much more than you could have ever bargained for, and now It's time to see what lies beneath the curtain of the stage set for you. You swallow fearlessly as you begin to descend down the steps into the seemingly unending darkness with Mona closely at your side. As your hand glides along the banister, you quickly retract it fast upon feeling how brittle the wood is. The last thing you need in this situation is a splinter. At least of all over the side. The darkness of the staircase is extremely distracting, to the point that you've had to stop to steady yourself several times from disorientation. Shake your head wearily and try your best to judge the steps as you go. Besides hurting your arm on the glass earlier, you have not had an accident, and neither is Mona as she trudges along behind you. As you descend the cellar steps, you're surprised at feeling more excited than terrifying. After everything that has happened, perhaps the Symphony Hall is having a rather adverse effect on you. Maybe you're just becoming brave in the face of horror and more eager than ever to find out the truth of this place. Regardless, you are thankful for any and all blessings that allow you to proceed without feeling crippled by fear, especially in descending almost endless feeling steps into perpetual darkness. But it is not a happy excitement. You always knew the excitement had an almost triple meaning, but this was your first time experiencing such a sensation. Nervous excitement surged around your tired body, despite that there's still, of course, part of you that is scared, especially by the looming darkness. Your eyes become slightly confused at how you are able to see and feel all the dust. The musk floating in the air of the stairwell long forgotten. Begin to wonder if perhaps you have come the wrong way. But this is the key we're given. It was the only door inside that accepted this key. The only option now was to press onwards. This place was also encouraged by the Vicar, and he knew she had the agenda furthering the ambitions of the mad woman that ran this place. Mona, on the other hand, compared to you, is terrified. She's gripping her hand so hard that you feel the blood supply being cut off to it, and you can hear her stumble slightly from walking with her eyes closed down the stairs. Yes, you can hear her mumbling in fright. Up midway down the stairs and touch her shoulder. What will you say? Nothing. Not just kidding. It's going to be alright. Just hold on. You feel for Mona in her frightened stupor. She trudges along behind you. You're unsure why you aren't quite as scared. After all, this place was admitted to be designed with you in mind for the maximum amounts of suffering possible. But in all of this, for all of her gloomy, gothic demeanor, Mona is the one who seems to be the most frightened. You stop to turn and place a hand on her shoulder. She lets out a small yelp. Ah! She cries out before letting out a sigh of relief. Hardly, brother, you scared me. Checklist as she makes sure to tell her everything's going to be just fine. For some reason, you're feeling much more positive now that you've gone through the first door. You feel as though it is proof you can survive. You can get through this. You feel rejuvenated. Even in the dark, this translates easily over to Mona. Libretto. Begin softly, and though you cannot see her face, you can picture her expression. I know we're here together right now, and we can do this, right? You make a noise of agreement. Mona squeezes your shoulder in turn as you press onwards. But halfway through the stairwell, your ears prickle and heat rises against your back. You recognize an electronic, crackling noise. Speaker. You look around frantically in the darkness, and Mona buries her face into your back and hearing your panic. A familiar voice comes across the speaker, and Mona lets out a small yelp at the material of your vest. The woman chuckles. Hello, my darlings. Have fun having fun? Feel a blast of anger hit your emotions full in the face of the taunting. What will it say? Yeah, it's great. None of your types of intimidation worked, Maria. We're coming for you. The speaker goes suspiciously silent. The feels for you just hit a sore spot on the ego. Somebody has been running the mouth half day. I'm not surprised. Two blabbermouths up on the surface. It's really a miracle they didn't decapitate you when they had the chance. But to be honest, feeling incredibly disappointed that he knew my name so quickly. Where's the fun in that? Perhaps I've underestimated you. or overestimate some of my most trusted employees. Feel a smile rising up in the back of your throat, but you know better than to show in case she can see you somehow. Hear the sound of her opening her mouth, a small noise that cannot be described as hesitation. She changes it to a low chuckle. You know, she begins wryly, I am actually very surprised you didn't kill my dear Sterling when you had the chance, especially for a woman with as chattering of a mouth as her. But I suppose not everybody can be like me. Sterling? Yes, my vicar, Juliet Sterling, Maria replies. But as I was saying, she could never hope to be like me. She's a sheep, a follower. I am a woman with absolute control over everything in my domain. That is the kind of entity that would be called a god, is it not? Libretto, the kinds of impact I could have had on you. What a missed opportunity. Could have been tremendous. What will you say? Could have had on you. Maria laughs in the microphone. Well, doesn't matter. My disregard for human life has afforded me many opportunities. You would do well to follow my example, you know? And you know, for someone who keeps chipping in Mona Tenebrae, I'm rather disappointed that one of my failures didn't manage to finish off an even bigger failure like you. Now I can't talk to Libretto on my own. Mona rolls her eyes and you can hear that the fright is soaring into a pool of anger in her mind. Do me a favor and shut up, would ya? Mona replies furious. You've been messing around with us the whole time, making me feel more frightened than I've ever felt in my whole life. And for what? To what end? For your own gain? Pathetic. Her voice still as distorted as ever, leans back in her creaking chair. How pitiful, lashing out in your fright. Anybody would think a woman like you would be more refined, but instead, a little more than a scared, motherless child. Mona flinches at the verbal dagger twisting in her chest. Maria laughs, feeling incredibly angry. What will you say? Well, we're gonna go for the smart option here. Spit out your news. You've no more time for these word games and you tell her such. Maria doesn't waste any time and leans into the speaker. Listen close. Prepare to listen even closer throughout the floor this time, Libretto. You know, really, I was merciful on you on the last floor. Didn't even get to hear my beautiful song. Do not have time to reply whatever you would like to say, because over the speaker the most melodious, haunting song you've ever heard begins to play softly. Maria crackles herself. Enjoy every single thing the song brings out to you, Libretto. You listen. Next to you, Mona next to you is already let go of your hand. What the? An intermingling combination of violin, clarinets, horns, and strings come together in perfect harmony. The harmony is ominous at best. The note sound is what they were intended to be beautiful, soft, and to be notes that audibly glide along the strings and metals like polish over a smooth surface. The eardrums soften the notes you can hear. You feel strangely soothed by this rather unusual melody. But the security doesn't last for long. The song progresses, you can distantly hear the faint sound of instruments, increasingly out of key in the background. Same notes are always out of key and out of place, but somehow it almost complements the harmony of the forefront instruments even further. The harmony fades, quickly turning to dissonance. The tune sounds macabre. You feel as though they're dancing shadows inside your mind. Feel the mental strain weighing down on you like a ton of bricks. Pain crippling from the surges of darkness, feel rippling around your body. But physically, you begin to realize that after the initial shock, your body feels the same. Your mind is in almost indescribable pain for a few seconds. The sense of self is interrupted. It's almost as though the song can bear to bring its arms against you, and you feel as though the sensation won't be happening again. Something is wrong around you, far more wrong than your mild discomfort. Mona's breathing is shallow and concerning. You cannot see her in the dark, but all you can do is hold her hand tightly. She feels almost serene, strangely so. She knew it was a bad thing to be in this situation. Holy Prato! Maria shivers down the mic and her mouth is so far pressed and the receiver they can barely hear her coherently. Libretto! Makes me shake with anger to see how little of an effect the song has on you. Why? Why? Why did she take you at that pivotal moment? Why? Maria screams the last part and you feel for the first time, descending the stairwell, actually scared once more. And the face Mona, who you still cannot see in the dark, but you can hear her making a long, droning noise. As you place your hands on her shoulders, you can feel her swaying from side in your arms. The atmosphere stirs, buzzing like a hive reaches your ears and you begin to realize that it is the vibratory hum of voices. You can hear crashing from the upstairs, even all the way down here. Something is screaming above you, rushing around, flashing and convulsing with anger. Their sudden guttural sounds are coming from seemingly around the stairwell from an unknown origin. The vile red noises are accompanied only by the sound of rattling of iron bars and chains. The sudden haunting realization that you sound that makes your skin crawl. Sounds as if things are beginning to break loose of whatever restraints are held. Are there really monsters in this place? If you do not escape from here soon, you may not survive. At the very least, Mona will surely die in her stupor. Colors! She mumbles in a breath, and to feel her hands slowly to her face. Colors, I can see everything. What will you do? Well, try and hurry down the stairs with Mona. You know that down the stairs is we have to go if there is any chance of being away from the song and living. But that truly is away from whenever is now stomping around upstairs and screaming again. Just like when you went to the rehearsal room, shake Mona desperately trying to get her to snap out of it. But all she can talk about is almost the tongue slow as the blues and purple circulating in the darkness. You know you have no choice. You swoop her up in your arms, you were always much stronger than her. You feel a horrible sense of sadness and fear for her well-being as her head lolls back on your arm. Before that walking down the railing three stairs in the pitch black was hard before. Now you're about to find out how difficult it is with a fully grown, uncooperative and trans woman in your arms. Colors, colors, prism of color. You can see the light. Mona begins repeating the last sentence like a lazy, unassuming mantra, and you feel the beat of a cold sweat moving across your face. Take the steps 1, 2, and even 3 at a time, hurrying in a rhythmic beat downwards and away from the impending invisible dangers. However, thanks to your slow, precise timing, you afforded the small luxury of stopping mid-staircase. You feel the breeze from your left. You stick the tip of your boot out to the wall, and you can feel that this is a land with an empty space. You cannot see whether the space is a room, a hallway, or merely just a ledge. With Mona in the arms, perhaps an unpredictable change of pace as opposed to just running down the stairs might be good. That said, there's nothing to imply that the room at the bottom would be dangerous. You must choose wisely, now more than ever. And with the blaring song in your ear, the yelling from the strap and the angry shakes from the ceiling above your arms like more than ever for safely holding Mona Lim's body, what will you do? Will I take my chance with the mysterious latch, continue down and never make it the room, try to send Mona with the broken choosing? Two heads are better than one. Nope, take a chance with the mysterious latch. Mona in the arms, vulnerable and afraid, you know that the mysterious latch is probably your best opportunity of getting out of here alive. Perhaps this is a place that even Maria herself doesn't know about. Perhaps it is not actually a place at all. Think how you're prepared to jump backwards back into the stairs if you need to. You hope it won't come to that. It would appear that Maria somehow has the ability to see you in the dark. It doesn't look like the look of where this is going. What are you doing? She begins to ask before realizing that you're about to take your chances with whatever it is before you. You close your eyes, stilling your nerves further still, and tap the edge of your latch with the tip of your boot once more. Don't you dare! No! That is not where you're supposed to go! You sigh that she's being genuine in this dismay, and one final huge leap forwards, manage to leap up onto the latch, and we find with great relief that you have discovered the secret passageway. As you walk further inside, everything begins to feel a little dizzying and somewhat like a daydream. First, you don't dare to turn around to see the monsters pounding down the rotten wooden staircase behind you. You didn't realize just how close you and Mona were to death. Her limp and borderline unconscious in your arms, the monsters would have taken her from you in a second. Mona stirring in the tight arms, but not enough to wake up just yet. You manage to stop the maneuver and Mona onto your back slowly. A cry of pain from your burning muscles in your upper arms. You grit your teeth as you do so, but find yourself quickly breathing a sigh of relief as you feel your back taking the weight of Mona's unconscious body. You find it much easier to hold her up beneath her thighs or your arms. You twitch, and the light source gets brighter and brighter still. You begin to realize that the glinting is from lightning all the way down the tunnel you're in, and you see what looks like a small, square doorway leading down into a room that is brightly lit, peach-colored carpet beneath. The closer you get to the entrance to the room, the more you begin to notice that the wall is stopping. It is clearly a secret entrance, which sparks the question. Just how much does Maria Agostini really know about this hall? Perhaps there are more areas you can use to your advantage. He didn't know, but this was certainly, or hopeful anyway, a good start to be had. Finally reach another entrance, a small human-sized square that to your average onlooker would either be unnoticeable from below or would simply seem to be an attic. You begin to hear voices coming up from the space. Here above the room, the voices grow louder. You! Get off of me! Why did you even bring me here? To see your impressive collection of rare metals hung on the walls? I'm sure God will be impressed at your morbid fascination with the crucifix. Trying to repent, are you? Better stay away from her, the other voice responds, ignoring the goading from the women in front of her. Myra, ugh. The worst thing to ever happen to her. If you had only left her alone, not been able to convert her to the ways of God. Right. And I'm supposed to believe that from you? Please, it was a damn miracle to get her away from someone as brainwashing as you in the first place. Thank God you never put any stock into your mad ramblings. You and her both know that she hated you long before I got there, didn't she? You are the devil incarnate! I think that you recognize his voice as we enter the room. Yes. Get in there. Moan on your back, decide to enter the strange room as fast as you can. Jump down with a crunch, gritting your teeth together as you fall to your knees. You have entered the resting ward. Two women arguing before you whip their hands around to face you. Arietta on the floor, spitting out blood and bound by rope, calling up at Vicar Sterling, who is now looking at you from behind the small spectacles with a menacing grin. Oh? He begins tossing a long hand to her shoulder. It's you! There's a condescending look written across her face, a smug smile in her eyes, curving at the edges of her lips. The smile is still as sharp as knives, and you can smell the perfume she wears from where you stand. She smells enticing, almost as though she wants to wear the sin of temptation against her neck. You feel alarmed at the atmosphere she radiates. So does Arietta. Libretto, no! I wasn't expecting guests, Vicar oozes. You lay Mona gently down before you and anxiously stand, fully aware of the vulnerable body of someone you care about laying before you, before scowling up at the Vicar herself. Libretto! Arietta repeats, this time with more fear in her voice and anger, and you see her spitting blood through her words in panic. Get out, damn it! It's between me and Sterling. Oh no. Please do by all means stay. Vicar Sterling smugly says, intensely changing tack and walking over to her desk at his side. Stay. I have some very interesting ways to make you all believers in the faith that you clearly need. You can't go there if you're unprepared, you know? Especially not while one of you is unconscious. Arietta, hastily shaking off the ropes that she is loosely confined by, quickly rushes to grab a vase from the corner of the room, and you listen to it shatter against Sterling's back. Ah! Sterling falls, falling to her knees against the ceramic. You wince as he slices in the skin. Why you? Don't bother getting back up, you don't bother get back up, you shithead! You don't have time to observe the surroundings of the room, so you have jumped down into just yet. Vicar Sterling wipes the blood off her hands from the cuts on her legs. And, standing up with a sharp intake of breath, angrily swipes something with a metal scrape from the table before her. You! She hisses. You vile creature! You watch as the Vicar turns around sharply with a lobotomy drill in her hands. Her nails clink against the metal. The snarling, piercing smile glints at you. Aware deceives. Damn it, Vicar! I'm the one you want to kill!
On the contrary,
Vicar replies.
I want to make you suffer the very most.
Vicar Sterling flies into a rage at you and he braces herself for a fight. Just as she does, Arietta quickly kicks Sterling's ankles, making sure she fell just short of actually managing to attack you.
Gah!
Receives knocked on the floor.
You best!
Arietta scoffs. Take that, you horrible old crone.
Oh,
Angry yelling and a loud thud, Vicar Sterling quickly scrapes herself up off the floor, dripping at a small amount of blood from the corner of her lips. Kicks Arietta over onto the ground with a hard bang. Ah! You gasp as you watch Arietta with in pain.
stay put.
Vicar Sterling shouts.
Be a good dog, just like you, Lucky Moses always are.
As she grips to the lobotomy drill, you notice that the desk she stood before is most definitely her own. Around in the place she stood are an innumerable amount of crosses above her bed, all in differing shapes, sizes, and materials, hammered to the wall. There are two large leather-bound books on the desk next to the bed that look like Bibles. The whole place begins to look very much like home for the vicar. Why would I say something? Why would I mention this? My question is, why would I mention this to her? I mean, I'm going to, but I don't know, see why do you live here? This is your room, why?
You!
She mumbles, looking directly at you.
This place was designed around you, wasn't it? To the enemy, you'd have such invited attention from the one true goddess herself. Of someone with such a beautiful mind.
This is the room for at least 3 of those working, for I was in charge of this place, libretto. It insists, angrily clutching her stomach. Look! You turn around and see that she's right. It's just not the room for Vicar Sterling, but it's another place that houses 2 more beds. Begin to wonder who they could be for, each desk next to each bed full of character, just a passing glance. Well, one of them should be the chef, I would assume, and the other one is going to be the monster. Stand before Mona's unconscious body with a fierce stance, ready to defend her. Arietta stands shakily to her feet again, whipping her bloodied lip against the white of her shirt, waves her arms towards the door wildly. Libretto! Libretto! Take Mona and leave already!
Sit back down.
Sterling past Arietta.
I told you to stay.
Arietta shakes her head and Fury begins to fumble around with something in the back of her trousers. I've had enough of this! He watches, shaking and turning fluid arms. Arietta pulls out a small, compact pistol and angrily pointed at the vicar before you. Her hair is messy like flames, pressed up to her alabaster, resting against her cheeks in the fierce gaze. Vicar Sterling makes a noise that almost sounds like a scoff, and he watches the smile begins to fade into caution on her face.
Don't point that at me.
Then you should leave before I fucking kill you. Arietta and Sterling stand opposite each other, poised to hurt one another, both with weapons at the ready. You can tell that between them there's a lot of history unspoken. You look around at the room surrounding the 3 of you, down at Mona's unconscious face. Sterling turns away from Arietta for a moment to look at Mona, noticing your movement.
My, she's a pretty girl, isn't she? That's such a haunted look across those dark features of hers.
You scowl at Sterling, who laughs again as she throws the drill back onto the desk. Arietta lowers her pistol in alarm, still glaring at the vicar before her.
Get up.
I am not sure who is talking here. It is Arietta, that was right. Get out already, you creep. Ain't you got women waiting for you at your favorite haunt in town? Sterling chuckles, ignoring the scratching remarks, and looks at you expectantly. Her eyes look sharp behind the glasses, half filled with excitement and a constant, underlying desire, and tilts her head to the side.
You are also a beautiful woman too, libretto.
What will you say? Alright, this is getting weird now. You should leave. Aren't you a charmer and so handsome too? Because Sterling looks at you in surprise. You notice her cheeks turning a bit pink.
Oh my! You really mean that, I wonder?
Arietta looks at the vicar with a scoff. Ah, yeah. I'm sure Libretto means it. You're just pulling a chain, right, Libretto? What will you say? Why would I be kidding? Why is this going? Arietta looks at you, stunned in the silence. The vicar laughs, almost triumphantly, and you smile at her with an expression that nobody in the room can read.
Clearly you are a woman of good taste,
The vicar says. You can tell that the tendon contempt you once held before has become a thing of the past.
Perhaps you are a woman worthy of my worship too.
Sudden click of her tongue, Arietta thrusts the gun a bit close towards Sterling's face. See yourself out before I do it for you, you sleaze.
Put it thing down, you fool.
Sterling chats nonchalantly.
Come on, I'm a peaceful woman.
Give me one good reason to do that. The vicar rolls her eyes.
Honestly?
She asks, and with a tonic grin she says,
Aren't you lot supposed to fight with honor?
Arietta takes a step forward so quickly that both you and the vicar flinch, pointing the gun firm with a click of the barrel. Sterling, I wonder just what kind of skill Arietta has to make a woman like this recoil. The vicar holds up her hands in submission.
Alright.
She says, but you can hear that underneath her facade she's a little frightened.
Let's not do anything rash. What would Samira say if he killed me?
Arietta scowls. If I didn't do it, she would later, so get out. Vicar Sterling scoffs as she turns to look at you, and you? Pick up the lobotomy drill that she left on the desk. Grab the lobotomy drill quickly from the desk that Vicar Sterling has left it on and pointed sharp refined aimed at her face. The vicar laughs quietly to herself, her nails tapping against the edges of spectacular contemplation.
Interesting. She said you went violent in your response.
Sterling says nonsensically, and you look at her in confusion.
But then again, it was quite a long time ago now, wasn't it?
Stop stalling and get out! Arietta demands. The vicar chuckles and cleans a glass against the long sleeve of her robe.
I suppose.
No?
Well, this is a turnout I didn't expect.
Sterling declares and says with grins as if she knows much more about this place than she lets on.
You win, but now I shall take my leave.
Good! Arietta replies sharply. Don't bother coming back! The vicar snickers before you and begins to walk over to the door quietly against the cushioned carpet. Her feet take gentle steps as though she hadn't been acting as a hypocritical tyrant before you this entire time. She stops short of the door, turning to face you over her shoulder.
You are all lost lambs, you know. You need to find your way back. Luckily for you, he has bestowed a blessing upon you. To bring you here is a miracle in itself. The work, the souls that went into this place. A holy crowd. So many human lives taken on this night alone.
The vicar becomes seemingly wistful for a moment.
For a human to do that, there truly must be a god. Death. The ultimate equalizer, my children. In death, we are all equal. In life, we are not by factors we ourselves created. In the eyes of God, nobody is equal, but in death, our skeletons are all the same.
Are you finished waxing philosophic? Harry interrupts. Get out! A silence follows before Vicar Sterling leaves with a poignant slam of the door. You and Arietta breathe a sigh of relief. Tch. Damn it! Why did we have to end up here of all places? Arietta, still bent over a little, stands up with a straightened back and shuffles off the badly tied ropes fully from her body. He watches he tucks the gun back into her trousers. Henrietta laughs with a sardonic chuckle as she notices you watching her. Luckily for us, libretto, she bought much away it because I don't actually have any ammunition left in the gun. Glad it's scattered though. Mona steers with a groan and Henrietta bites like in contempt. God, what the hell are you two doing here? Coming in from a place like that too? She asks with a noise of disbelief and looks at the phones you two are sporting. Is Mona okay? I mean, I'm guessing she must be for carried here all this way. What will he say? What happened to you, Henrietta? Henrietta takes a breather. She folds her arms as she leans back against the desk. She crosses one leg over the other towards her ankles as she leans there. Auburn hair flops across her brow. I wish I could answer, libretto. She replies, honestly, don't know what to tell you. The last thing I remember is being on stage with everyone, and then no idea what happened. When I came to, must have been only a few minutes ago. I regained consciousness when an unfortunately familiar shithead was towering over me. Steps. 5 minutes in. Alright. She fumbles around in the pocket for something before pulling out a light and a packet of cigarettes. A satisfying noise with the sparks grind against the lightning fluid's ignition gives you a strange sense of comfort. And Henrietta puffs away shakily on the tobacco. I heard her talking to someone. I saw it even. Some lady in a gas mask. She sounded real sweet on the vicar. God help us, Orias. No idea who she was. She and Sterling were talking about lobotomies. Never believed in that myself. Seems like a painful, horrible waste of time, just like the rest of this place. I had a pause of looking at me with concern. Libretto, she asked, and this way you're probably one of the people in the world to hear her softer tone. What happened? You know? Upstairs? You're hesitant to tell her, but you fill her in on the gory horror and sadness of the upstairs symphony hall. Henrietta's eyes widen with fear and disbelief as she places her hand over her mouth. Jesus Christ! Well, we just got rid of Jesus Christ, but alright. She exclaims and drops at her face. And nobody else that you knew was in the symphony hall? You can tell she's unsettledly asking you indirectly about Serenade, and you reply to her that she wasn't there. Rather breathes a sigh of relief. What a relief. But to be honest, I don't know whether that's good or bad, because it's certainly a damn sight better than finding her dad. You decide to not tell her that you may know where Serenade is yet, in case she runs off into danger ill-prepared. Sit next to Mona and press your hand to her forehead. She feels as though she's at a normal temperature, where the sighs and exhale smoke from her tobacco for her nose. I overheard those obscure lovebirds talking even more about how this is all some woman's doing. Name's Maria, I think. An inkling as to who she is. If the name of this hall is anything to go by, I reckon my mom used to know her actually. What will you say? Your mom knew her? Henrietta pauses with a serious look on her face, fumbling with the end of a cigarette, but before flicking it into the ashtray on the desk she's leaning on. That's right. People are gonna trying to 12 minutes in on purpose. That's right, remember how Sterling mentioned the Lacrimosa name a few minutes ago? Or my lot, as she called them? Ryder rolls her eyes at the end of the sentence. You nod and she sighs wearily. Yeah. That's my family. Mobsters. She states bluntly. I'm not proud of where I come from, and neither is my mom, but they were all we had for a long time. Mom used to deal with all the bigwigs in this town. Hell, she even knew Sterling before this place. He had a heart attack when I saw her again. Henrietta chuckles sardonically and he raised an eyebrow at the stories going on behind the scenes of her life. The Songbird Symphony Hall. Takes a drag of a cigarette. Possible that you knew Maria, yeah. What do you say? How did you know Sterling? How did your mother know Sterling? Maria shakes her head. I don't want to talk about it. It's all the same to you. He pauses as Loretta folds her arms uncomfortably, pressing what looks like some kind of bad memory from her past. Perhaps you can find an item in the Symphony Hall that can shed some more light on the situation. As you sit down on the slightly worn carpet beneath Mona, you take the opportunity to glance around the room that you currently sat in. The carpet, much to your relief, is not red from anyone's blood. It is a slightly off shade of faint red, making it warm, surprisingly pleasant peach color. Brown of any patterns or strings, it feels strangely comfortable. There are 3 beds, as you noticed, all lined up against the dingy walls of this place. You tilt your head to the side as you observe the lights above. Sterile, almost too white in the light they give off, and as though they are remnants of a hospital, found in confusion as the walls surrounding this place look little more than medieval. Behind you, away from the beds, there's a recliner in the back of the room. It is old, weathered, and covered in dust. The larger desk that Arietta was leaning against is covered in papers. She carries the chair from behind the desk, a large oak chair, to prop up against the door's handle for safety. Yeah, there we go. Back with the woods, a large oak chair. Hello, Oak, how are you doing? There are large closets behind the door that Vicar Sterling walked out of. It's definitely home to the strange residents of the Symphony Hall. I begin to wonder whether Maria was bluffing about you coming down here, or whether she simply had forgotten about the well-being of her subject. Either option seems entirely plausible. You should be in safety for now, provided nobody comes through the entrance you just did. Arietta remarks as she jostles her chair with the handle and slumps down against the wall. She runs her hand through her hair, clutching at her scalp in frustration. God damn it, Serenade, where are you? Libretta? You know, really hear a familiar voice. He hides around to see that Mona is finally waking up. Her eyes slowly flicker awake, and you say, welcome back, sleepyhead. Mona blinks gently, her emerald eyes fluttering open. She looks up at you from laying on her back with a weak smile. She chuckles quietly. I haven't heard you call me Dad in a long time. Smile down at her, and she places her hand on her forehead. Jesus, my head! She exclaims with a sharp intake of air in the winds of her eyes. What on earth happened? Are you alright? Explain to her the events of everything that has taken place, all about the descending of the stairs, Maria's songs, monsters outside, Arietta scaring away the vicar, the sewer-like blaze above the resting ward, Mona's eyes widen in horror as you fill her in on everything, and she sits up suddenly. Oh my god! She exclaims and places her hands on yours. Libretta, my god, are your arms okay? Your wound didn't open, did it? Shake your head with a smile, and Mona breathes with self relief. Thank goodness, she exclaims. You, Mona, and Arietta sit exhaustively down in the resting ward's room, mutual crumpled pile of relief. Stroke Mona's forehead as she lays on her back, still relatively unable to move from the pain, as Arietta sparks above another cigarette, crossing one leg over her ankles as she sits outstretched. You can see the concern riddled all through her face, the anxiety of not being able to find out where Serenade is, replaying in her mind. She shakes her hand vigorously. What a mess we've all found ourselves in, eh? She says, a puff of smoke coming from her lips. Suddenly never want to be within 10 feet of Vicar Sterling, let alone where she damn well sleeps. No kidding, Mona states really. I can say if I was wondering for her from the brief time Libretta and I met her before. Arietta pauses, lost in a silent contemplation, before she takes another drag of a cigarette and abruptly stands up from her slumped down position on the wall. This is ridiculous, she mumbles and walks over to the door, standing for a moment before the chair. He's surprised as is Mona to see her moving it to one side. Arietta? Mona asks and directs herself. She doesn't turn around as the words leave her lips. I have to find Serenade. I can't just wait here not knowing if she's alive or... She trails off. You and Mona wait with bated breath for what she's about to say next. And you find yourself surprised at her sudden, candid nature. When I was younger, my mother almost died. Mona looked at the woman's back of you standing still in her unwanted emotions rising to the top of her mind. She almost died because she tried desperately to protect somebody that she loved, somebody that in the end she couldn't even be with. She lost her eye that way too, Arietta mumbled to herself, his hand still resting on the cold of the door's handle. She couldn't be with the woman that she loved, no matter how hard she fought for her. I don't know anything about this woman, or the child that she supposedly had. Could have been a bigger sister, you know? My mom could have been happy. Really growing up, that's all I wanted. I just wanted to see my mom smile again. I know that having me by her side was enough. And I wasn't. Mona looked at Arietta's back with an empathetic gaze. I'm not going to live her life, Arietta declares, and you can tell that this was more a declaration than she needed for herself. I'm not. I won't live my life alone and heartbroken. I won't live it pretending everything is fine. I'd rather die protecting the woman I love than letting her be harmed because I couldn't find the courage to go and find her. Arietta appears to have made up her mind. You could try to stop her. You could tell her a cyanide proposal it is. What will you choose? And that is the perfect cliffhanger actually, because we've been going for over an hour, and this decision we will make the next time. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I see you all in the next one. Until then, have a great one and bye bye.